Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of the Floor 26 podcast, the show made by young people for everybody. My name is Adam Duffy, and today I'm joined by my illustrious co-host, Parsa Pahlevankhah.
What up, baby? We back in the new stew. Sitting down on this nice orange chair.
I'm still getting used to not having something to put my elbows on, or like.
Yeah, I feel so insecure, like sitting on this couch.
Right?
and
Like
shit.
I feel like they haven't seen our legs before, and I'm like, ugh.
They're gonna be so judgmental, man. Damn, Parsa, you got some tree trunks.
Parsa, you insecure about your legs, man?
Just a little bit.
I think you have good legs.
I mean, honestly, like I feel like I was made to be taller, but since I didn't achieve that goal, like my legs just like. They just gained weight.
For sure.
So, like, I question, like, why would all this weight go to my legs if I wasn't going to get taller? It's just a question that we don't know the answer to, man.
Yeah, man. Scientists are still scratching their heads.
But when I go to China and break them shins,
Yeah.
stretch them out a little bit.
Well, did you ever watch the Christopher Nolan Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
Where, remember when they stretched the chick because she returned? They stretched
Didn't
the boy.
she get weight?
No, the boy that went into the
big
TV. The guy who like got teleported into the TV. They stretched him out using a taffy puller, and he was like super tall and thin.
Oh, I remember that.
I
barely remember it. I haven't watched that in so long.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that we just watched on repeat as kids.
Yeah, and then you never watch again.
For sure. But yeah, I'm saying that to you, if you could find Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
I mean, dude, just the recovery and the rehab for that procedure is
Sounds
like
awful.
2 years.
Like 2 years of like
2 years of
crutches
like
and
probably having
wheelchairs.
like fucking braces on your legs, not being able to walk, probably 6 months to a year in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and I feel like
I just feel like it's not worth it.
Yeah, and I feel like the failure rate for
Nah, man, it's China. No failure there. If they can completely fuck the world with one virus.
No reported failure there.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, fuck the world with the virus. There's been a lot going on about that recently, with Dr. Fauci's emails being revealed, and everyone going through that about like about the whole like lab leak idea that coronavirus leaked out of a lab. There's a lot.
I mean, man, honestly, like fuck Fauci. I was on it first.
Yeah, dude, he's see at the very worst, right? At the worst part, he hid that or he's discrediting like he knows that it leaked from a lab and he's discrediting it. That's like at the worst end, which is like really shitty to do. And even at like giving him the most benefit of the doubt, he still like misled the public quite a lot a year ago,
Especially with masks.
Yeah, at the beginning with masks, where he says,
and we're still wearing them, dude. It's so terrible. You ever have to wear that shit outside when it's 90 degrees?
Yeah, just walking like out
It's
doing
hell.
errands. It is hell.
And I'm not getting vaccinated. No way in hell. So
that's the thing. I've stopped wearing it most places now.
yeah, because you're fully vaccinated up.
Yeah,
Zombied up.
Yes, I hear this beeping in my head all the time. I don't know what that's from, but I'm sure it's nothing.
Are you serious?
Calm down, no.
Dude, I'm going to take your word for it.
Parsa, don't trust a word I say.
Okay.
But that whole thing a year ago where you're telling people not to buy masks because they don't work, but it's really just to save them for medical professionals. It makes perfect sense, right? Like if you told me like, hey, don't buy masks because we need these for the doctors and the nurses that are really close to it, I'd be like, okay, sure.
No, fuck those guys. I'm going to buy a 10-pack. I'm going to just reuse one.
Parsa, you remind me of remember in the Christopher Nolan Batman where Alfred says some men just want to watch the world burn?
Yeah.
That's you
Thank
to me, man.
I appreciate that, man.
Speaking of Christopher Nolan Batman, I got called uncultured today because of adjacent to that, right?
Because you watched it?
Well, I was like just waking up and I was like watching YouTube. It's what I do pretty much every time I wake up. And I just get this call from my friend Charlie. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. He never calls me because we only ever hang out once a week when we play Dungeons and Dragons. And so I pick up the phone. He's in his car. He's like on speakerphone. And he's like, you uncultured motherfucker. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck happened? And he's telling me how he's listening to the episode where I showed you guys the AT&T Tower in Nashville, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. You know, the one that looks like a fucking Illuminati stays there. And he says like, do you guys not recognize that was the Batman Tower in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies?
It was?
Apparently, like the one he perches on and shit. That was the one they filmed at.
Bullshit.
I
was
like,
the AT&T sign?
I mean, you could edit that shit out, I guess.
No, but honestly, like that trilogy is one of those things that like it's a blur. Like I don't remember any details from it.
I mean, it came out when we were kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's just so old to me. Like if you told me like that was a Stark Tower, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can see it.
Well, he just said like he called me uncultured for not already knowing that, which I feel like I've been called uncultured a lot, and I like from you, I just sort of thought it was like you, right? Like you're gonna
I
call
just call
you're just
everybody
shitting
an
on me.
uncultured swine.
But like now, I'm getting a little insecure about it. Like, am I just uncultured? I feel like I'm kind of cultured in certain things. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of aspects to being cultured.
I mean,
but
there's just so much culture to be cultured with. Like,
I'm just in bad circles, man. I mean,
like there's cultured. You can be cultured in like food, movies, music. Like there's just
sports and music.
Yeah, it just goes on, and like you
Yeah.
just can't possibly.
Yeah,
like
and
in 20 years of life.
Yeah, I think I'm just in a bad spot, right? Where you and Jack and TJ are a lot more cultured about music, especially rap, and then like sports in general, mostly basketball, than me. And so like I'm always getting called the uncultured one in those conversations because I know shit. But then it's like I don't talk to people that are interested in
Rap and basketball and like bullshit like that.
No, I guess I should say like other people I talk to are like I don't know. I exist in different circles, I guess. But yeah, I'm also, since I'm not like from here. I mean, obviously you're not from here, now there's TJ. But like I grew up in a place where that kind of culture is not like, it's not something you grow up in.
Y'all not bumping Young Boy out in Montana?
No, not in Montana, not in Utah.
That's the problem, man. That's why everybody's so fake. If y'all were listening to that real shit,
you think that would fix
that would fix it all up, bro? The Mormons would be acting right.
Nah, dog. The one thing I did, so I dislike Utah, right? I lived there more than almost half my life, coming on under half my life, but I lived there most of my life. And the only thing I miss about that entire state, because I hate the weather, I generally dislike the people, but the one thing I do miss is actually the radio stations, because the radio stations play music that I actually like to listen to generally.
Emo?
Not even emo, just like...
Dude, honestly though, fuck radio stations because of the ads, dude. I can't stand... Like, bro, sometimes like my phone will die. Like the other night, I left my friend's house and like I put my phone in charge, and like when your car charger doesn't charge your dead phone.
Not as fast.
So like I'm driving halfway there, and then like by the time I get home and like my phone finally turns on, and I'm like, damn, I really just like sat through this whole silent car ride, like for literally just because I didn't want to listen to the radio, because they'll be like 60 minutes of uninterrupted music, and then 10 minutes of ads.
After every song, they remind you that it's 60 minutes of interrupted music. It's like, do you not realize what you're doing? But oh man, I forgot exactly what I was gonna say.
You were talking about radio stations that.
Well, yeah, I mean radio stations in Utah play like alternative music that I grew up on. But what I was saying is that whenever my phone is dead in my car, or my sister took out like the little Bluetooth thing I have, since my car's pretty old, and I can't like listen into my own music, I don't go to the radio. I instead go digging in like the back seat for the like folder of CDs that are like a decade old, and I'm just like flipping through it, and I'm like, holy shit, these are some bangers of albums, like I'll like pull out something like In Between Dreams by Jack Johnson, and I'll like pull it out, the CD. I listened to it in the same car when I was like 4 years old in a car seat, and I'm like holding it in my hand. It's scratched as fuck on the back, and I slotted in there, and oh man, it's great. Only like 2 songs on it actually play because the rest of them are like scratched up.
Dude, I'm so glad we've moved on from CDs, because like, dude, they just get
shitty
so
medium.
scratched up.
It was a
bro.
shitty like medium. I guess cassettes were kind of, and like VCRs were kind of bad too since they wore out, but like yeah, CDs
I've said it here before. Like if you put a CD in to play a game,
you're a degenerate.
Yeah, you're a degenerate. All respect has been lost.
Well, I mean, because when our modern game like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One came out, there wasn't a whole lot of downloaded games, or it was still like 50-50.
Yeah, and like because the consoles were made for that, like for CDs, like they didn't come with a lot of storage. So like you'll download like Call of Duty, and then boom, like you gotta delete every other fucking game, because Call of Duty like takes up 400.
Yeah, like people on those first edition Xbox Ones and PS4s, they can barely play like Call of Duty.
And like the thing is, like if you're gonna like buy CD games, take care of your fucking CDs.
Don't
like
just
there's
leave them out.
no reason I gotta put 2K in and then take it out and then Put it in, take it out, go fucking get toothpaste, rub it on, wash it off. Now it's more fucking scratched up. Now there's fucking mint pieces in there. Like, come on, man.
You put it back.
Step up, dude.
Oh my god. Dude.
Like, you just can't be a lazy fuck with CDs.
Well, that's the thing where it's just.
But then again, I'm a lazy fuck, and if I had CDs, I would do the same
Well,
shit.
that's the thing. Like, they weren't built around human laziness in mind. You know, like everyone has CDs in their household, or at least most people like our age, I feel like, have CDs in their household that, you know, are super damaged because like they were like, because like we still have all like the old movie CDs that we used as kids.
And like it's the type of habits that you get like as being a kid, because like, you're a kid, you don't give a flying. You know?
No, you pull the CD out, you throw it to the side.
You just put it on top of there, and then you stack up another one, and another one, another one.
And like you're swapping cases. Sometimes you're putting 2 CDs in one box. But yeah, I mean, and now we look at them. I haven't opened a CD in years, but we still have them for some reason. But yeah, I'm sure they're all like terrible to watch because I'm sure they just are like cutting through like half of the movie because it's all fucking corrupted. But yeah, having everything digital is a lot more useful for sure.
Yeah, man, social media is killing us. All I see is like, dude, I was like scrolling on YouTube. It was like how to get your dopamine, like, what was it? Cleansed? Like it
dopamine cleansed?
No. There's a good word for it. When you like
detox.
Yeah, detox. It's like dopamine detox, and I was like,
the fuck would you need a dopamine detox for?
And then like it's just a guy laying in bed, the thumbnail, and it's like Doritos and like phone and like fucking.
Oh, okay, just to like reset your brain. Or
yeah, and then the other half is like him reading a book, and then the half-ate apple on his bed. And I'm like, dude, if this is the type of shit that makes you happy, man, you do you.
Yeah, I hate the obsession that people have with like chemicals. It like the chemicals that go on in your brain. Mm-hmm. Like one thing that'll always make me cringe. Like I read a decent amount of poetry, mostly for like during class or like I have friends, mostly like my female friends, you know, they'll fucking write poetry or some shit. And what gets me every time is whenever someone mentions like serotonin, like the happiness chemical in your brain. Like, it always just makes me cringe so hard because it's such a stupid thing to focus on.
Give me a serotonin boost.
Or, like, when people are, like, saying, like, or, like, especially in winter when people are all, like, affected by, like, seasonal affective disorder and they're all, like a little sad.
They're
and
all
they're like, man, I just need that serotonin. I just need that little dopamine boost. I'm like, shut up.
Just go for a fucking walk.
Exactly. Like, these things are not, like, it's just, I'm trying to think of an analogy here, but it's just, like, the chemicals that are released in our brain are like the byproduct of our actions. They're not like, it's not the other way around. I mean, like when you focus on it so much, it sounds like it's like heroin. It's like,
you know, it's just like people like they put this image in their head that like, oh, I'm like this because I don't have enough of that in my brain right now.
Yeah,
but they're like, okay, I'll just wait till summer comes and it's the middle of fucking September.
Yeah, or you wait just till like you don't do anything. You wait for it to come to you at some point.
Yeah, like. At some point, you got to understand. You feed yourself the narrative. Like
wow.
I've been like thinking about this a lot lately. That like, you know, like how you feel is because you make yourself feel that way. Yeah. So if you just get off your ass and like like just tell yourself that you're gonna be happy.
Yeah.
Like you'll really become happy. Like, dude, I had such a shitty day on Monday. I just woke up not wanting to do it. Like it was just a shitty day. And like I usually go to the gym like every morning. Like first thing I do, I get up, I like dress, wash my face, go straight to the gym.
Yeah.
Take a fucking big scoop of 300 milligram caffeine of the pre-workout.
People that drink coffee every morning are fucking degenerates.
Yeah, no, dude. I was just like, I was talking to somebody about that. I was like, yeah, I don't drink coffee every morning, but I do. I get the same amount of shit in me.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was just like, I missed that, so I was upset about that. And then I had to go to work at such a shitty shift. Like it was just like I literally just had to be there for the last 5 hours to just close.
Yeah, it's like super slow.
Yeah, no, it's not even that. It's just that like my shifts are usually like 7 to 8 hours, so it's like a commitment of my day.
Yeah.
So like when like I'm asked to commit 5 hours for no like reason, it bothers me. So like I just go in there pissed as fuck, and like the thing that always like makes me happy is human interaction. Like if I'm ever sad, I really just want to see somebody
for sure,
and just like either talk some shit or like go do something, or like it's just like that connection of being with somebody else. Like it instantly cheers me up because I'm just like I like to like be with people. Like, that's why, like, I hate spending a whole day alone.
Interesting.
Like, that's like my least favorite thing ever.
I can definitely understand that. I think I operate a little differently, but I can see how that would help.
Yeah. So like when you know what makes you happy, like you figure yourself out, and like there's nobody that should know how you work better than you.
That's true. Yeah. I think I've felt that before, for sure. Like that, the crisis of feeling like you're the person who knows you the least, or you feel like who you are is being invented by the people around you, or like you're morphing to fit the people around you, and you're like losing track of who you really are. And I think that can lead to a lot of that, like, I guess, depression, or leads to like a lot of feeling of loss. I mean, I'd say I felt that a lot during high school. It was especially since like I was kind of set up for it, moving like 6 different states and like 9 different schools. Like in public education, I was kind of set up for that, but I always had an issue of like staying as a consistent person everywhere I went, or every social circle I was in, because I always went in with this mentality that I wasn't going to know certain people for very long. I was just going to go in and out, and then, meet entirely new people and never see those other ones again. And so I would go in with a mentality that I can present whoever version of myself I want to be, because like by the time I get tired of being this fake version of myself, I'll be out of here and I'll never have to see these people again.
See I'm pretty, like, one thing I pride myself on is like I'm pretty strong in who I am. Like, I will never change myself for anybody, but I'll adapt to the situation. I'll talk different. Like, I'll say the right things. Like, for example, like we're talking right now, I can walk upstairs and like respectful to everybody, and like a different group of people come, and then like I change and like I adapt to that. Like, but to change your personality and like what you like, unless you genuinely grow to like those things, you just got to stay solid to who you are. And like I said, I pride myself on having a strong mental, because like what I see like around me, like a lot of people just don't have that. Like a lot of people like easily fall and like easily like just get down on themselves. Like going back to Monday, I was like, it's just a bad day. Like tomorrow's going to be better. Like when you get your check tomorrow, when you make like do this, like it's going to get better. Like this day isn't going to, like this mood isn't going to carry on to tomorrow. You just woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah. I don't think you should ever carry anything into bed that you will like. Everything you carry into bed, you should leave it when you wake up the next day. But what you were saying about, like being able to change who you are, change your tones when you're meeting with different people, that's like a good aspect of social interaction.
Yeah, it's called code switching, which is like, I'm surprised that a lot of people don't like know what it is. Cause like,
because like we all know the people who aren't very adept at that, and they stand out in a social setting where they're like to different groups of people, they act the same way who they are. And, sometimes that's praised as being like someone who's really real, but also sometimes it's just like, it can be obnoxious. But then there's like the further side of that where you do change like who you really are deep down. Like you change large parts of yourself when you're meeting with different people, where, I mean, I have this vivid memory of being in the lunchroom at high school. And like, I was always like the person to like float around and like talk to like everyone.
Yeah, you move around, you dap with everybody.
But I just have this distinct memory of going through maybe like 10 different groups of like people, like in our grade, like up and down.
And never having your home.
But never having never having like someplace to really sit down, but also like being a different person whenever I stopped by a different group of people. And I remember like running that gauntlet all around the lunchroom, and then when I'm out of it, I'm just like I'm exhausted. Like I just like put on like 10 different masks for like, dozens of different people. And in none of them was I acting like myself, who I like vaguely know who I am. And, being out of high school, that's something that's really improved. Now I have like a much stronger like sense of like,
who you are.
Yeah. Who I am and self-worth and all that sorts of things. Like, and I have the same kind of thing as you, where I look at other people who like struggle with that, and I'm now looking at that from a point of like I'm a lot like I'm no longer susceptible to those sorts of things.
Yeah, like it's just,
and I think that's just growing up. Honestly, I don't think it's like some sort of existential crisis. I think it's just like, now that I'm out of high school and out of like that kind of setting, it was just natural for me to resettle.
You know, like people grow at a different rate. A lot of people like they choose to like stay the way they are. They choose to like stay at home and play video games until they're like 25. Like they choose to continue with their bad habits. Like they choose to like, because it doesn't seem like a problem to them and nothing's going to make them realize. And like in high school, like I messed with everybody. Like I was cool with like every group. Like,
Yeah.
like everybody, like I knew everybody and stuff like that. And I feel like that has like shaped me into like a person that I can connect with anybody and everybody. Like I'll meet people for like the first time of all different like cultures, and like they'll fuck with me like first 10 minutes. And I'm just like,
I've noticed that for sure.
like people will like rock with me, and I just feel like it's because that I'm me. Like I'm like I don't put on like a mask. Like I'll connect with you. I'll talk to you about your interests, because genuinely at some point in time I was interested in that too. You know, and I appreciate our high school because of how diverse it was.
Yeah.
And like if I feel like if our high school wasn't the way it was, I probably wouldn't be the way I am.
I definitely agree with that, because one thing about, I think when I was talking about going to all these different social circles and acting all these types of people, in other places I've lived, it's been such a homogenous community that I could pretend to be like a single person, and I could run with that for as long as I stayed there, especially in Montana. Like the person I was when I lived there for only 2 years wasn't really who I was, but it was fine because everyone in my community was like all the same, you know, very like not diverse, and like not ideologically diverse, not racially diverse, not any of those things. And so it was very easy to pretend to be someone. But in like our high school, very diverse ideologically, racially, and all those sorts of things. Because there were so many different types of people, I very quickly exhausted that sort of mask swapping where I'm going and I'm being different people. And I think if I had gone to a more homogenous school, especially like the ones right next door to us, like the ones that are very, I'm trying to find another word for homogenous, but basically, like, I think if I hadn't gone through that and like exhausted all of that, that tendency of mine, I don't know if I would have been able to get out of it afterwards. I think I might still be in some sort of position like that.
No, I definitely get that. And like, although it was probably like, I hated how diverse we were, because as a school, we just never clicked as one.
That's true. It did have some adverse effects. Like when you have so many people that
Or
come from
so
different
many
backgrounds,
different places, and like half of the school doesn't even speak like fluent English.
Yeah.
They're just there. And then like
it like everyone said, like we never had school spirit, which was because there were
so many different groups.
Because the definition of school spirit was different to everyone you asked.
Yeah.
And you know, like you see other schools, same thing. You know, they're all homogenous. They all have the same value, so they all have the same definition of what school spirit is, of what these certain things are, and that's why they're able to at least appear more spirited or happy to us.
Like,
but
okay, like hypothetically, school spirit means take pride and like be involved.
yeah,
But you can't expect that from like a group of people that just moved to this country, and like they take up a third, and then like,
or you have like one like activity that everyone, or like at least is, you have one activity that is sort of mutually agreed upon or like socially agreed upon is the way to express school spirit. But then again, with everyone having a different definition of what that means, they're not able to apply it to that as much. As like if we say school spirit is being as loud as you can at a pep rally, or you know, going to games, but to other people that's not how they would show that per se. That is what brings down engagement in those sorts of activities, which when we compare ourselves to other schools where everyone does have that same value system, you know, it looks like it's lesser. But I just think it sort of hides itself.
Yeah, and like that's my only regret from our high school. It's just like I just wish like it was just like one group.
I mean, like there's a certain thing where you wish it was kind of like a movie high school where everyone was where it was more clearly defined. Because I feel like a lot of other schools were like that, where it feels very defined as to where the cliques are and all that. And
honestly, though,
everyone's on the same
Cobb
page.
County like completely destroyed our high school district, though.
Well, yeah, our school is so weird. The principal has a map in his school of our Wheeler districting, and it's just like, obviously it's just this big bubble.
Yeah,
but then
it's like this little circle, and then it just drags on to like.
Yeah, and the thing is that you have, if like you can't have any like floating pieces as part of the same school district. They have to somewhat combine, and so we have like our main central body, and then we have just like single roads districted off that then lead to other communities, mostly like underprivileged communities that are like 40 minutes away from the actual school building, but are districted for us, even though they're much closer to other schools. You know, a little bit of gerrymandering done, you know, when the districts were drawn.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that you're like, what if it wasn't like that?
Yeah, because I mean, the actual place where the school is it's fairly homogenous. Like, if it was just a circle around the school going out like miles and miles. Although I don't know if it would look too much different. Now that I'm thinking about it,
I think it would, because the area that it stretches out to, that's like that Smyrna area.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would probably still reach out to Cumberland Mall. Well, because Terez, he's like right on the border, and I think he's still part of like the main bubble. He's
yeah, like it's literally, if you go from where he stays like to across the street,
yeah,
that's like an Osborne street.
It completely switches.
Dude, fuck that cash grab fight.
Mayweather and Floyd?
Yeah. Dude, he sticked him.
I said Mayweather and Floyd, sorry. Mayweather and Paul.
Yeah. He sticked him, knocked him out, and then he has him on his shoulder, like getting him to stand. I'm just like, bro, just win your money, get your bag, like give us a show.
So do you think that they were told to like keep up the fight?
Oh, 100%. No, they both agreed to it.
Interesting.
I mean, it had to be, because he even said it after the interview. He was like, yeah, you know, pretty much fuck you guys. I got my money. He got his money.
Oh yeah, he said he was the best way to legally rob banks. I don't think that they kept each other up after like Logan knocked out Floyd, but I do think that I think both of them, not even talking to each other about it, had a mutual understanding of like how to play the fight out, the exhibition out, I should say.
Dude, like it
was total bank robbery.
Yeah, I hated it. Like I watched it illegally and I wanted a refund. Like I was just like, what
you thought you deserved money for having to watch it?
Yes, bro. Because like, it's like, if you're gonna hype it up this much, just give the real deal.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing anybody any justice.
Yeah.
By like completely like making them pay $50 to watch you fucking hold him up when he's knocked out.
Luckily, it was on the same night. Actually, it was on the same night as like a pretty uneventful UFC card.
Really?
Yeah, it was like on like it wasn't like one of the main cards. The main pay-per-view card 263 just happened last week, and that was like a huge card, you know, super important fights then. But the week before, which was the Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight, that was on just like a fight night, just like where they put like other fighters on sort of a lesser card.
It was on a Sunday too, which I was just like, why?
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
I don't think
maybe they did it. Maybe they did it to take away. Maybe they did it on Sunday so that they would.
Yeah, so they would get the most amount of viewers.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. I didn't watch it, but it seems like a boring fight to me.
I feel like all of the high profile like fights are just such a disappointment. Like
boxing is just not a fun sport.
It's not, and honestly, like it just makes me like UFC more and more, because UFC, like, you're not wrapping up. If you're wrapping up, you got somebody's neck like wrapped up,
or someone's like face is like busted in. But yeah, like I even watched the Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders fight. Like it was like a actual boxing fight between two of the best boxers currently alive, and they like fought, and it was entertaining, but not as entertaining as just watching a UFC card. And it was so much like just the sport in general of boxing is just...
They just don't get knocked out the same.
No.
Like, it's just
well, I mean, that fight ended with Canelo hitting Saunders in the eye, and his eye swelled up, and it like stopped the fight. And then like Canelo won. But it was just not as interesting as watching like two guys stuck in a steel cage, and it's like one of you can leave conscious, I guess, after the time limit, then both of you can. But nah, man, watching the UFC is so much fun compared to it.
I hate how everything's pay-per-view, man. They should be robbed. I mean, they got to make their money, but like, fuck, man.
Yeah, man. I mean,
is there not a monthly subscription? There's no UFC Plus?
There is a UFC Plus, actually. It's a very convoluted system, I'd say. So there's 3 things, right? There's ESPN Plus, which is just sort of like, which is like access to a lot of sports things. And it does cover certain aspects of the UFC card.
Like undercards?
Yeah, so basically the UFC card is split into early prelims, and the main card. And I think ESPN, just having an ESPN Plus login gives you access to the early prelims for free. And then there's UFC Fight Pass, which is another paid subscription that kind of stacks on top of ESPN Plus, where ESPN Plus is like maybe 30 or 40 a month, and then, or maybe, no, I forget what the billing period is, but it's like, but the UFC Fight Pass will like stack on top of that, so it won't be like this.
You'll throw on
this.
10 bucks.
It'll be like 10 extra bucks, and that gives you access to the prelims for free, or at least not for free, I should say, for what you're paying. Cost. But then no matter what, the actual pay-per-view you have to pay for still. And I think when you have UFC Fight Pass, the pay-per-view costs less, only $50. If you don't have Fight Pass, then it costs $70. And so when we watch events, my friend Charlie, he has UFC, he has Fight Pass, and so we only have to pay $50 collectively for the actual main event.
And you get 5 guys, it's $10.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad. And we only ever watch like the really big ones. We'll skip like pay-per-views that aren't like super interesting to us. Like the next one, McGregor's fighting. And so we're going to be watching that. That's in July. It's mid-July.
Who's the damn, my friend was showing me this guy the other day.
Yeah.
Just guess who he is. Adesanya. That's
that was the last card. That's why I was so hype about it.
Really?
Israel Adesanya. Yeah, the last style bender.
I heard was it that good?
Well, his fight in particular wasn't very eventful. He just sort of he like destroyed the guy, but like destroyed him where it went the full 25 minutes and like his opponent wasn't able to do anything to him. But the fights underneath that was what really stole the show. The co-main event, the second to last fight of the night, was another title shot between the 125-pound division, the smallest men's division that they have. And
can you imagine that?
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of funny actually because it is pretty small guys. Well, the thing is that, and this kind of goes into something else, but the current champion, or at least the former, I should say, he just lost his belt. But the guy who was champion that night, taking on the challenger, he weighs 160 pounds. Normally, he walks around at 160 pounds, and he cuts down.
Cut 40.
He cuts 40 pounds to fight at that division, and it sucked for him this time. He said that he had a terrible weight cut, and he got beaten in the second round.
Dude, cutting weight is terrible.
I can't imagine. It sounds disgusting. Like the sweatsuits and the not eating anything, not drinking anything. It sounds
like it's just
terrible.
Yeah, and brutal. I don't know which organ it's not good for, but I'm pretty sure completely
your livers,
fucks up something.
I can't imagine. And it's like if I was a UFC fighter, I would be expected to cut like 20 pounds down. So I'd expected to fight at 135 pounds. Can you imagine me? I'm 160 pounds. Can you imagine me cutting down 135?
I mean,
I weigh as much as that guy who was the champion. Can you imagine me cutting 40 pounds?
I mean, I'm probably going to bulk up a little this winter.
I mean, you keep hitting the gym like that, yeah.
But I don't know. Because I don't want to bulk because when I gain weight, dude, it's bad.
I don't gain it well?
I mean, I gain it well, but like at some point you're like,
okay,
you just don't like the way you look. Like I doubt that I can bulk without like my fucking face getting fat. Like
interesting.
Love handles coming out to play.
That's always, well, that's the thing where it's just like the thickness of your skin and like the small layers of fat that sit over everything. That's less of like a workout thing and more of like a dietary thing to get that down. And
but then again, like I've never like gained weight when I've been working out. So I'm kind of excited. I'm probably gonna like try and put on like 10, 15.
Okay.
And
I mean, I'm like I said, I'm 160. Like I usually float around 150. That's been in the past 2 months. I've gained that much weight. What are you trying to get to?
I mean, a couple years ago I was like in the 140s, but like last fall I like went all the way up to like 158, almost 160.
Yeah.
And that's when I was just like, all right, you fat fuck. Time to get in the gym. And now I'm around like 151 to 153.
Okay.
On a bad day, we'll say 155. So I'm probably going to like try to stay at like 150.
Uh-huh.
And then probably go to like 160.
Yeah, I think 160 for me is probably a good thing to stay at, but just sort of just trading off like how much of that is muscle and how much of that is other stuff, and just like trying to stay around that way. Because I think if I went up to like another 10 pounds, I would also look a little big. But I mean, I saw a picture of myself 2 years ago on my Snapchat memories, just like a selfie I had taken, and like I was like skinny as fuck.
Oh, dude,
I had like a jawline, dude. Like,
oh, dude, when I get like flashbacks from like last summer,
like my neck was skinnier too.
It was so bad. Like my beard was like extremely long. My hair was like extremely short.
Junior year, yeah.
No, not even junior. I'm talking about like last quarantine.
Oh,
and I thought I was hot shit, bro. I was just like, damn, bro, nice beard.
Well, you mean like remember the quarantine haircut video?
Yeah.
Like, do you think you look bad in that? Because I'm trying to remember. You had a buzz cut. You had like, well, not a buzz cut. It was like short,
It was
but
just grown back.
Um,
Yeah, because it was that phase. Like it was just that awkward phase of like hair's just not long enough to do anything.
What do you think about like how mine's been coming in? You know, because it's like
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been actually getting a lot of compliments.
Yeah,
about it.
like something my mom said to me like when I got a buzz cut. She was like, "You have a nice head for a buzz cut."
People
like,
have been saying exactly that to me, and
like
I would.
Some people can pull it off. Go ahead.
And I thought I would have a bad head for it because I've just smashed my head around so much. I thought
so many times.
Like I didn't think it was gonna look terrible, but I think I could say like, hey, look at this, and they'd be like, oh shit, that looks crazy, dude. But I've gotten nothing but positive comments about it, and I mean, I told you this early in the week, but yeah, my barber didn't like your job very much.
Okay, you didn't say that. You said it was a 6 out of 10. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, exactly. 6 out of 10 is pretty bad.
I mean, that's passing, bro.
60.
Hypothetically speaking, that's a D minus.
KSU, what is KSU's grading scale, man?
Honestly, man, they need to.
They allow 6 out of 10s?
No. Dude, I made a mistake grabbing summer classes.
Yes, you did.
I did not expect the 8-week course to be this hard. Just like every other day, lesson 8 quiz. I'm just like, damn, man.
I'm so sorry. Why are you? I mean, I guess I understand why, but man,
if I fail this midterm on Sunday, I'm gonna have to drop it, man.
Hey, dude, if you need help, man, I'm happy to help. Dude,
it's just like it's one of those proctored exams, dude. Okay. I have to sit on a computer.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, studying for it. Like, what class is it for?
It's elementary statistics, and I was looking at the formulas, and I was like, bro, I swear to God, I came here in 5th grade, but like none of this shit looks elementary. They're like sigma, and I'm like, bro, what? Sigma who? Like, what's going on here?
Sigma nuts. I think I've already told you this, but I already passed elementary statistics. Let me help you out. Like, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I know what was on my midterm. It's probably the same shit that's on your midterm.
Are you sure?
Yeah, probably. I mean, the curriculum has to be at least somewhat similar to each other.
I mean, yeah, it's e-course, so like.
Yeah. Let me help you out.
All
right, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. You know, one thing I wanted to mention when, you know, just looking at this whole set and stuff like that. By the way, the sign, awesome. Really like it. But
we got some work to do, but we love it. It looks great in person. Hopefully it looks decent on camera.
We're still definitely working out those kinks. But when we're looking back at, like, this is episode 37. Looking back at all the other ones, it's interesting to see sort of like the seasons that we can break it up to, or like the phases. Because we look through and this goes into another thing I want to mention, but we're looking through like episodes 1 through 9. Those were like the
rough days.
The rough days, like bare wall.
Yeah.
Like very like flat and like desaturated. And then I think we hit a good stride episodes 10 through honestly episodes 10 through 26 almost. Where whenever we put up the Christmas decorations back in like early December, I liked that. I really liked that. Like looking back on it, it was such a big upgrade. And then that lasted until after Christmas, and then even going further, like up until episode 26, like that was a pretty good stride I think we had. And then we
put on the pads and the comic books.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
And then those comics were hilarious. I thought that was an impulsive decision too. I feel like it was like the day of, we were like, let's go buy some comic books.
Yeah, we're like, because it's hard to like slap shit on a concrete wall. Like, you know, like there's only so much drilling you can do in cement. Like, you just gotta understand though. Like, we shot command strips and like fucking nothing to put on.
Gorilla tape too, man.
Yeah.
And that lasted until I was 26, and then we obviously had a little stint in the green screens, which is like a cute little. I feel like it was a cute little like moment in our timeline where we were like 3 episodes.
We really just had to make something work. I mean, honestly,
it was fun for what it was. I'm glad it only lasted 3 episodes, but it was fun for what it was.
On adaptability, I'll give us a 10 out of 10.
We can't, because we got moved out of that set very quickly. It was like the day before. It was like 2 days before we were going to record, or like maybe like half a week before we were going to record.
Is the other green screen still up?
Yes, I've been too lazy to take it down.
We fucking. Oh my God!
We hung it up using thumbtacks,
dude, and they're so deep in there. They're so deep in there that like it hurts to take them off.
And there's like 50 of them because we used so many. Oh my God! But yeah, that like little stint was really fun, and we did it like 4 days before we were going to record. We're like, shit, we don't have that set anymore. We got to figure out something. And we're like, order the green screens now, and we did it. We set it up.
I mean, we got it. Could it have been better? Yes. Do we know what the fuck we're doing with lighting? No. Are we still here? Yes.
Yes, and then of course there's the break after episode 30, and now we're here.
And now we're here.
And it has been a wild ride.
Yeah.
But
and honestly, dude, I'm starting to like this couch setup.
It was taking some getting used to. Even just like before we started recording, I was like, oh, this is going to be like, this is like, I was having doubts. And then my doubts went into like you just got to get used to it. You just got to get used to it. But now like sitting like this, looking at you, I like
I'm
it.
chilling. You look good.
Yeah. Your leg look good too.
Oh, fuck you.
But something else that I wanted to mention with that was with like our changing set, it's just that, you know, whenever someone is like, hey, Adam, you know, I was listening to the podcast, and it's like, yeah, I'm on episode like 2. And I'm like, that's your first mistake.
Wow.
Well, like I'm telling you, I've been telling people like
just skip.
Like we're not like a television show. You don't got to start at the beginning.
Like you want to hear like, dude, I remember like when we decided that like the first 5 episodes we weren't gonna advertise.
Yeah, and
just
then
to
like build up.
Yeah,
but like, oh my goodness, like when I hear someone's like going like, yeah, I'm watching like the earlier ones, and I can tell behind what they're saying, like the idea that they have. I'm like, please stop. Like, stop watching that and just like
go to the most recent one.
Take that idea of what you have just away and come watch the most recent one. Yeah, exactly. It's like the news. Like, you wouldn't go back and watch like earlier days of the news just for the hell of it.
Like, it's just like if you're watching like old clips, different story, because like it's an 8-minute clip of like what we were talking about.
That's true. When we talk about current events, there's no reason to go back and talk about
but like
events.
if you're fucking listening to episode 1, I mean, I honestly can't even imagine how the fuck I sounded.
Dude,
I don't even want to.
I go back sometimes. It's bad. We all sounded like it is crazy to see how much we've matured, and I mean, like even when I'm looking at like episode 10 when we first put up like our Christmas decorations, I'm still talking like a madman. I'm still like I'm still not at the point I was now, even though I kind of look back fondly at that time. It's very interesting how much it's impacted just my general vocalization.
You know, I'll tell you what, this is the first episode that I haven't been blazed. And man, I love it.
The first one.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
But like honestly, the clarity of mind, I love it.
Interesting enough, you know, I started out completely clear of mind, and then I moved into that a little bit. So we sort of had intersecting paths, but now we're both of clear mind.
Look at us, man. Who would have thought?
Not me.
Not me.
I feel like we say that every episode.
I feel like we find a way.
Oh man, we fit it into the conversation somehow. But yeah, I just always tell people like, you know what, just go back and start at this, because not only I think we sound and look better, but the stuff we talk about, I feel like is more like, I was watching a news. So like, have you noticed how everything is trying to hire? Because like, and like, no, like there's such
everybody's on unemployment now.
Well, and there's such a lack of workers. Like people just like people are like getting off unemployment. And they just don't want to go back to like part-time jobs. It's like, especially people like our age, like they're having a real, like every like fast food place and retail store is having a real struggle getting people back.
Now hiring.
And I remember back on episode 1, we even talked about this. I gave this like half-baked, prediction that like once COVID went away and like we're coming back to everything, like there'd be a real struggle to get to jobs. Like it'd be really hard for people to find like part-time jobs even. And now look at me, like everywhere I go, it's being shoved in my face. Like, please, like get a job. We're understaffed. You go to a place like a Waffle House. Waffle House isn't serving like dine-in from certain hours because they just don't have enough people to like functionally staff it.
And I wonder where all those people went. Like what?
Well, it's just like people in our community that just don't want to have a part-time job, I guess. And it's interesting because
I definitely see where they come from, because I'm at that point too. Like I'm hanging on by a thread. Just like I don't want to do this anymore.
Like I don't know if it's a mix of like the unemployment and stimulus checks that have been like giving people enough money, but I think a certain set of values has changed where we don't we're valuing part-time jobs like that less and less, like that disposable income like that. Like we're spending differently.
And companies, like, they also, like, have no problem not giving you that same service either. Like, so many places. Like, I was at Cookout last night. They still don't have dining.
I was at Cookout last night, too. Yeah, they don't have dining. Yeah,
I was just like, bro, what the fuck?
I hit there at 2 a.m. and I was just, I mean, like, I haven't sat in a cookout since like a
high
year and a
school.
half.
Yeah, like back like after like a football game. Like, and I'm just like, wow, this shit's like crazy.
Yeah, a lot of places are opening up, but even though places are opening up for dining, like the Chick-fil-A most nearest to us is I think is open. Oh, actually, maybe not. You can go in there to pick up stuff, but I don't think you can eat there.
And it's just like so whack because sometimes you just want to go sit down.
Yeah, but it's interesting where like you say that, but then like I think the reason why they haven't opened up, or at least partially as they're shifting away from being away from each other, I think people don't want to sit in at restaurants as much. Restaurants, I mean, just like fast food places. Like obviously, like I'm sure people want to go to Olive Garden for their birthday, but like places like Chick-fil-A, I think people are happier going through drive-thrus than more than ever before.
And they treat that like service as like expendable. They're just like it's fine. Like we don't care.
Yeah,
we'll just say sorry. COVID took it. Yep. I'm just like COVID's fake.
And then people are just like, yeah, okay.
I can't believe so many people called like fuck it. I'm not gonna talk about it. I don't care. Nope. I don't care.
You don't care? I'm not talk about it.
I'm not gonna talk about fucking. You know what?
Oh,
the disease.
Do you mean the fucking thing that we're all engulfed in right now?
Dude, it still bothers me because like the other day I pulled up to work and I was like, damn, I really have to wear this mask. Like it bothers me that the only way you can get out of it is if you take that fucking vaccine.
Hey man, I mean, you can wait a few months; it'll go away too. Like you'll be able to take it off without.
Yeah, but what if it doesn't, bro? Biden has these people living in fear. What's wrong with this mic stand?
I'm sorry.
Is this the new one?
It could be.
No, I don't think so. I think this is yours. That's why it's so shitty.
I did fuck with my mic stand a whole lot.
Yeah, I just kept mine in space. I would just keep.
Yeah, we should have labeled these things so we know to give the fucked up one to me. But I mean, it's just, I think, like I was talking about with the whole Fauci thing, where his emails recently got leaked. Like there's so much. It's just been such a long road of like information that we've all been adapting to that. Like it's very exhausting looking back on all of it. But right now, I think the biggest contention is more and more people are coming to the idea that the virus leaked out of a lab rather than came from nature.
Bro, but when I said it was bullshit.
Well, that's the thing where at the very start of the pandemic, the scientific community all together, like a bunch of PhD doctorates all came together.
We're like, oh yeah, somebody just ate a bat soup and boom, here we are. Half the world's on fucking lockdown.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's a fucking virus lab in Wuhan.
Yeah, the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
But then when Trump says it's the Wuhan virus.
Well, that's the thing where it's like, it's kind of a simple thing where it's like, oh, this virus is taking over the world. Where did it come from? Wuhan. And he's like, isn't there an Institute of Virology at Wuhan? And like, yeah. And he's like, what do they study there? Bat coronaviruses. And there's that thing, right, where that sounds very smoking gun. But then you have to think the reason why they have a virology institute there where they study bat coronaviruses is because there's a lot of bats in the area. And so it's like, it's kind of like a,
why don't you,
I don't know if it catch 22.
Why instead of catching the bats and selling them at a fresh market, why don't we just get some exterminators?
Dude, people eat bats. People are hungry in China. I don't know, but like
there ain't no way did the bat taste that good.
It tastes that good if you're starving.
Dude, I remember like when it first became a thing, there was like this video of this girl so happy to eat a bat soup.
Well, all that shit being sent around in the early days of like wet market images. Most of them were bullshit. Like most of them were just random images online. Like most like this, like, oh, this bitch eating bat soup. It's like just fake.
She caused it.
It's just like it's just like there was so much just virulent shit going around. But there's a lot more like just credible contention about it now, especially since like Dr. Fauci's been discredited a lot, or not discredited, I should say, but more and more people, more
bullshit.
Yeah, because I mean, for over a year, he was just considered this like messiah, this guy who pulled us out of this shit. And like I said at the beginning, like at the very worst, he indirectly, slightly directly caused this, but then is now fixing it. Is now like the lead of the people who are fixing it. And so it's like this thing where it's like he's not saving us from hell. He's fixing his own mistake. And so that's changing a lot more. And it's crazy that hasn't been it's kind of crazy that we're still debating that right now. That over after a year, we haven't either decided like definitively that this came from nature, or definitively that this came out of a lab, and there are people who should be held responsible. It's a damning accusation on like public officials.
I was watching an Australian documentary on it the other day on YouTube. It's just a bunch of these scientists, and like they're all saying like different shit. One's preaching, oh yeah, it definitely came from a lab, and then the other guy's sitting across the table, there's no way it came from a lab. I'm just like, bro, like, are y'all not looking at the same numbers? Like, are y'all not studying the same shit?
That's the thing too. It's just like science is so politicized, and I guess there's this big thing going around where, you know how like everybody is always like, you know, trust science. You know, if you question science either, and on either side of like how it's being politicized, if you question it, then that's like, it's a very bad thing. It's become like the new like religious code. Science, you know, science is the new Bible.
It won't lie.
But like, that's the thing where it's just like the meaning of science is, you know, stuff like questions.
Find the answer.
Questions and like nothing. Like the point of science is presenting things that are not 100% true, things that are just assumed or believed to be true because of certain things and are completely up for interpretation and questioning. And so it's like, it's in and of itself, everything in science is meant to be questioned. Like I could question like gravity. It's not actually real. It's actually just God is just pulling the earth on a string. Like there's shit like that. And then like people would say, no, that's not true because this, and this. And I'd say, yeah, okay, you're probably right. And I'd be convinced of that. But I can't say like gravity's not real. And then like people are just like not even open to me describing why I don't think gravity's real. Mm-hmm. Sort of maybe a weird analogy, but it's just, it's something I've been saying a lot recently.
Where you're, because like when you ask a question about nature and how life is, like there's a scientific explanation behind it. Yeah. And then you're just like, bat virus.
Well, I guess when you don't want to take a vaccine, but like people online say like if you don't take the vaccine, you're a heretic.
Fuck you.
You're like, well, it's like that thing where it's like,
bro, let me tell you this. So like they're like, oh, the vaccine doesn't like protect you from variants. Biden's like, oh, there's a Delta variant in England. It's coming here. Get your vaccine. Like they contradict themselves so much to where I don't want to trust it. And it's not even that like I don't trust the vaccine. Both of my parents got it. It's just that I personally don't think I need it.
Well, that's the thing where it's like the vaccine, the creation of the vaccine. Although I believe it's credible and I took it, it's whatever. I think that it's okay for people to question it. I would make it my purpose to try to convince people that it's okay to take, but like ultimately there's nothing, your decision to not take it is not at all like a damning accusation or like nothing at all that should be frowned upon.
Like I feel like we're vaccinated enough to honestly lift all the restrictions.
I mean, we're getting there, especially in the United States. I mean, it's like with international travel and all that stuff, like other countries not being up to snuff. But I mean, a lot of places are. I mean, when I'm talking about like UFC, like in Arizona, Florida, and
those are my states, man. That's where I need to be.
And I think Texas, like they're opened up, and that's why they've been able to have live UFC events. And I mean, everything's been, and it's like a super chill there, where it's like the environment is like, you know, you wear a mask if you want to, but like, you know, like also just come along. And it's like, and it's like I haven't gone to any of these things, but just watching them on TV, it's like it makes you feel comfortable.
It feels good.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm sure if it was extremely dangerous and there was numbers coming out like these UFC events are driving cases up the wall, like we'd know about it. Like they're obviously not extremely harmful. Maybe people are catching it because like people who are not vaccinated go and they maybe get it, but we're not seeing like the CDC say like live events that are going on in these states are causing, you know, a massive increase in cases where, you know, it's people over time are going to look at that and they're going to say that sounds a lot better than the alternative of like going back to live events when there's no evidence that it's like extremely dangerous for you. Sounds extremely nice. And, you know, people living in different states are going to pressure their legislators and, you know, over time it'll just, you know, dominoes.
You know, it's like my explanation is that after like the first month of COVID, I was just like, yeah, this is bullshit. So like I stopped caring a lot. And like through my tenure of not giving a fuck,
Yes.
I have not gotten it. So I'm just like, if it hasn't affected me at its peak, what are the chances of it affecting me?
Do you know you haven't gotten it? Have you gotten like tested?
I've never been tested.
Okay.
I've also so I'm assuming I was like asymptomatic.
Yeah, I feel like I'm asymptomatic because I was pretty like reckless early on as well, and
Yeah.
like, I feel like and I also had that confidence where it's like it won't affect me that badly,
But like I was still like scared for my parents. You know, I was just like, I still don't want to be that guy that brings it home.
Yeah.
So like that was like my biggest fear.
Yeah, and it was really hard not to really be involved in it when like my stepdad comes home and he's like, oh yeah, 22-year-old girl died in the ICU today from COVID, and I'm like, oh cool. Like, and like my mom was writing the tally of deaths on our calendar.
Oh my God.
Back when it was at like its highest every day.
Dude, that's dark.
Because she would get the data and she would write it on her thing, like cases and deaths, just to like, I don't even know, just for like her sake, I guess. And it was pretty sobering just watching that like go every day. But I mean, I think it was also to track progress because I think she wrote it up until it would reach like it's like a good point. You could see like the decrease in cases. But yeah.
And I think I was listening to a Joe Rogan episode, and like this guy was explaining how we went from trying to flatten the curve from the idea that we're all going to eventually get it, and it's just about slowing it down so everybody has enough care.
Yeah.
To lockdown, wear a mask, don't go out. We're not going to get it.
I think that was the prevailing thing last. Yeah, I remember that. Like just it's going to work through everybody, but it's all about making sure that it works out through everybody and we're able to handle it. But I guess it was like those things somewhat work hand in hand, where being locked down is
it
the
makes
best way
sense.
to
It
slow
makes
down.
sense to like transition to that.
But it's June the 20th, I think. It's June 20th. June 18th. Been 14 months since it started, and yeah, I mean, honestly, like it hardly affects my life anymore. Like, obviously I don't eat places very much, but like I hardly ever wear masks now.
Yeah. And it's just like, if I'm going out, like the only time I wear it is on the clock. Yeah. Like anywhere else, anybody asks me, I'm like, fuck you, I'm vaccinated. like it's just simple as that. What are you going to do? Ask for my card? Ask why I don't have a wristband on?
Oh God.
Where's my sticker?
There's the shit too, where it's like,
you thought we were all going to wear bracelets. I was like, ain't no way in America.
It could happen.
It would not have.
The
Proud Boys would never let it happen.
Well, I'm saying I don't think it would happen countrywide. It has happened in certain places, but
yeah, in blue states.
Yes, exactly. For the most part. But then there's the thing where, like my sister, we went to Micro Center together. No, we didn't go. I forget. We went to a store together. We went to like Kroger together, and like I'm walking in, I'm getting out of the car, I don't have a mask on, and she's like, oh, should I wear a mask? And I'm like, they don't need you. Like, it says like you don't need to if you're vaccinated. He's like, yeah, but I don't want people to think I'm conservative. And I was just like, and like,
what?
And you see all those memes online, and it's honestly like,
it's true.
It gets to me so bad though.
It's true.
I hate it. Because it's just like it's like we talked about it a lot back like months and months ago when it was like it was the idea of wearing masks or not wearing masks was politicized. Now at the very tail end of this whole thing, wearing masks and not wearing masks is still.
And it's just like at that point, then why are you vaccinated?
Yeah. Like, whenever someone says something like that to me or like mentions that to me, like when my sister mentioned it, I was like, when she's like, I don't want people to think I'm a conservative, and I was like, does that matter? Like, is that like why would it matter if someone thinks I'm a conservative? I'm not, but why would it matter?
Like, I can't believe that like people will look at you because you're not wearing a mask and they immediately
like make all these like assumptions about what you believe and who you are.
Dude, people are sometimes so bitter about. Oh, I hate. Like,
well, it's like these mega identities, like I said, where you can look at a single aspect of what someone does or someone believes in, and infer like their entire ethos based on that. And in some cases it is true where we keep lumping together all the aspects of our lives into a single thing. But also, like, it's like if you had a puzzle and you put one piece on the thing and you like able to identify what that was and you guess what the entire puzzle looked like, and like that's what you're doing. Like, you see like, oh, this person's not wearing a mask, well, they must be this thing. That person is wearing a mask, they must be this thing. Yeah, and it's just, it drives me up the wall.
Yeah.
It really drives me up the wall.
It's wild, man. It's just like you expect people to like Just assume that they're vaccinated.
Yeah, I get.
And
I
just
mean, like,
move on.
yeah, I don't assume anything. Or like, it's below the threshold of things we should care about. It's something that we should, and it's a whole nother conversation about that. I feel like me and TJ
People
go over
have
it a
too
lot.
much free time. They just have like they take the power of like thinking
Yeah,
too far.
You
You
know-
think too much. You think too deep.
maybe if we reopen everything, then people will have less free time because they'll be doing shit, like productive shit, like hanging out with other friends and speaking to people in person. That I think that'll hopefully help it die down. Like,
Dude, I really should have voted this election. I'm really mad, bro. I mean, honestly though, because dude, it's just such a bad look having Biden as our president.
yeah, he recently went to his trip to Europe. Like the G7
I
summit
saw
and shit, and
the
like
elbows and shit
There's
standing 6 feet apart when they're all fucking vaccinated.
it's
just like it's
but like a speck of dust could kill that guy. Like a common cold would.
I could stick him and he. Oh wait, actually, let's not say that. I forgot who he was.
Parsa, you're already on a list, buddy.
Oh well, let's not get on anymore.
No, I mean, there's all like, and then Kamala Harris's trip to Central America and like her speech that she gave there, hilarious stuff, dude.
What'd she say?
Stuff. Well, like she gave a speech in one of the Central American countries. I totally forget. No,
Oh yeah, they all had banners saying "Get the fuck out."
I didn't see that, but I just remember her speech that she gave where she's like, if you're thinking about making that dangerous trek up to the Mexico-U.S. border, don't do it. Don't come. And then you see like it was mirrored with this clip from 1 year ago when she's campaigning for president. Like back in February of 2020, she's still campaigning even before that, but she's still campaigning for president. And it's just like we need to open up the border completely. We need to let everybody through. It is terrible that we're keeping all these people in cages.
Oh,
And it's like, yeah, like both of those sides, like obviously you're going to say that, that'll get you voters. And then like saying this now, I guess the reality of it, like you don't want, like if you can say all these like nice things about, like keeping like the border really open, but now that you're actually in power, you realize how much of an
impact it actually has. But
And-
honestly, I feel like if I was a fucking Russian and I looked at our like president and our vice president, I'd be like, all right, yeah, we can take these guys.
Russia's a failed country. Russia's a shitty country.
No, it's not.
They have nothing going on. It is a failed.
They went on the moon before us.
They did not go on the moon before us, buddy.
You sure?
They went to space before us.
What's the difference? Dude, like
Millions
moon
of miles.
landing was fake. Dude.
Hundreds of thousands of miles. The moon landing wasn't fake.
How do you know?
How do you know it was?
It was a set. What it looks like.
Okay,
Have you seen it?
I shouldn't say how do you know it was. That's a bad. But it's not fake because hundreds of thousands of people worked on it, and none of them would have kept it quiet.
Heard. Well, that's why we have NDAs.
But I'm saying,
Somebody would slip up.
I'm just saying,
eventually.
the Soviet Union didn't. They wanted to get to the moon first, right? You think if we faked it, they would know about it. They would tell everybody. They have no reason not to tell everybody that it was fake.
All right.
But
If that's your reason,
But basically, I'm saying that Russia, Biden's going to meet with Putin. I think it might have already happened, but he went to go meet with Putin, and I'm still digging into like the news stories about that. But like Russia and like we've been hearing stuff about North Korea recently. Like Russia and North Korea are just two, like they're really not a threat at all comparatively to China.
It's just gonna be a long 4 years, man.
It's interestingly enough, I think it's going to be a 4 years that we kind of breeze through because he's just so low energy that I think things will happen, things will change that we'll notice. But like, I think there will be a lot less volatility. It'll be like very under the radar and very snoozy.
I don't think the next president's going to be a Democrat.
There's always a pushback. It's always like this, and then like everyone's like, yeah, it's always like a constant like ebb and flow. But maybe, I mean, it'll be interesting to see because the reputation of the Republican Party is shit right now.
Dude, I hate how much the Democrats play on like small groups.
They both suck.
Okay, but like at least one group's like straightforward, and the other group is just like, yeah, we'll take care of we'll feed the fat people extra food. Yeah, like they just try to get all the small groups.
It's called virtue signaling, where
Yeah.
they act to be all these things just to appeal to people, but not actually do anything. But
And like the people just don't see through it, and it's just like
it's
open your eyes.
extremely shallow and hollow. But I mean, the same thing. The Republican Party is, there's true to their morals, but those morals are not very good right now.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm not saying all like.
No, so I honestly don't think, like, hypothetically, either one isn't really fit to lead, but I don't see the GOP ever really getting back reputation unless they make a drastic shift, which would be interesting because that kind of opens 2024 up to a lot of interpretation, or at least a lot of change, because it's sort of that thing where, like, it's going to change because it kind of has to change, or else, like, no one's going to win. Like, so it'll be interesting to see what unfolds, but I don't want to think about it because I'm already tired of this election. Like, I don't want to have to think about another one. Although I'm getting all these
ads.
I'm getting ads recently, but it's like the tail end where it's like there was ads about, like, there's like the campaign ads, like there was like the attack ads on their opponents. There was the ads, right before voting, and then now there's the ads where people are like stroking their own dicks, like they're hyping themselves up. Like, I'm getting ads on like, I'm watching Hulu. I'm watching the show on Hulu, and I get ads, and I'm getting ads about the senator in Arizona, about how good she did, helping Arizona get out of the pandemic. And it's just like, you guys are really, like, patting yourselves on the back right now. Like the body of this election is not even cold yet, and like we're already like congratulating ourselves. It's like, it's so dumb. Like, you're paying for this shit.
You just got extra money laying around. Why not toot your horn?
I suppose you're right. But man, have you been keeping up with like ads recently? Like sort of like the general ad cycle? Because I feel
the only ads I keep up with is the fucking Instagram ads, man. They get me every time, man. I just ordered their shirt.
Well,
I checked the tracking. That bitch is coming from China. I was like, keep it. I don't want it anymore.
Well, not like that, but the like, I feel like when we watch like Netflix and YouTube a lot, there's no ads on. Well, actually, I guess there's ads on YouTube, but they're different from the ads that I'm going to talk about, where you're sort of out of the loop. But when I'm going back on like a streaming service like Hulu that has ads, if you're not a premium member, I'm seeing like what the Hallmark companies are making up with now, and it's crazy to see how much they've come full circle. Because the Gecko, right? As kids, we watched him, like the idea 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. That had just started when we were kids. And now the ads that Geico is running is the Gecko. He's talking about creating that. He's like having like this introspective moment where he's like, man, the journey so far has been crazy, like, and he's like talking about like, back when I invented that, I wanted to name it something else. And it's almost like it's become its own living thing. It's like this child that you've seen grow up and is now like on its like deathbed. And it's like, wow, that's crazy. Not even to mention the Progressive commercials. Remember Flo from Progressive? That started when we were kids. And now they've come like really full circle. They're having all these like really meta ads. It's really interesting to see.
Dude, you know what's the weirdest part about these ads?
Huh.
Jake from State Farm, bro. They completely changed that
guy.
guy.
New guy. Yeah.
It's like funny. Like it's just nothing else but funny.
Well, it's like when you change a character in a major like TV show without telling it, or like without really like giving
addressing it.
It just like it's a new actor.
Like new season and like boom.
Yeah. Game of Thrones do that all the time where there's just a new guy and you have to like who is that? And like,
oh, Johnny. Okay.
Yeah, like Johnny. I thought you were being played by this guy, and like no, and we have to like okay,
adapt,
I guess it's this guy now.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed with a lot of ads, there's, I don't want to sound too controversial here, but a lot of ads have been getting a lot more woke recently. Like a lot of like major brand ads, especially now that it's Pride Month. There's a whole thing where every company is just like, like, oh, we're gay now.
Yeah, slap a rainbow on for
slap a rainbow on it. Sales go up a little bit as soon as it's over.
You saw Skittles went white. They were like the best rainbow is like. No, seriously, check their Instagram right now.
I'll do that. But it's just the most hilarious thing how like these corporations are like they make their logos rainbow, and they're like we're staunch allies of the LGBTQ community, and everyone's just like, thank you Mercedes, thank you Honda.
And that's the thing, like preying on like the smaller groups.
Yeah, virtue signaling. It's virtue signaling. But
whatever you want to fucking go.
But what's hilarious is that Skittle. It's so hard to spell Skittle.
It's S-K-I-T-T.
Oh my God, they are white. Ew.
Look at the post. Look at what they said. Read it out loud.
During Pride Month, there's only one rainbow that matters. Okay, interesting. Okay. But
Okay.
But like the thing is that like all of these corporations have interests in other countries like the Middle East and China, and most of them have social media platforms. There's like a Mercedes-Benz USA, a Mercedes-Benz Middle East, and a Mercedes-Benz like I think like China, and those two, Middle East and China, didn't change their logo for Pride Month. Pride Month, which is in most countries around the world is universally what's the word when you like a holiday that you
No, because bro, if you do that type of shit in the Middle East, like,
well, that's the okay,
go, like
well,
burn the fucking Mercedes.
Well, that's
bro.
the thing where it's like we observed these holidays are observed like in Europe a lot. Like it's a worldwide thing, but like you're not going to get your Chinese branch of your company or your Middle Eastern brand of your company to change to like celebrate these sorts of things. And it's like that thing where a lot of these corporations' money come from China and the Middle East, especially like car brands and stuff like that. And it's like they're showing you this. They're showing you this on like in our little den that we have here called America. But in reality, like the vast majority of their customers and stuff like that are people that don't support this and like stuff that we would call like detesting. Like imagine if one of these corporations didn't like change their logo in America during this time of the year. Like people
Chick-fil-A stays true, man. Shout out Chick-fil-A, bro.
Chick-fil-A is
I saw
Chick-fil-A's got demons.
Like,
Chick-fil-A's got their demons too. And
they were like, we don't give a fuck what you are. We'll sell you a chicken sandwich, but we won't change to a rainbow.
Chick-fil-A's it's definitely has some bad things on their deep end as well. But like you would like people would be calling out Skittles if they didn't change. No, I shouldn't say Skittles, but like people would be calling out a car brand if they didn't change their logo to a Pride logo during this time of the year. But in reality, like people in we don't call out them not doing that in other parts of the country, parts of the world.
Why don't we change our logo, bro?
Oh shit! Should we go on a rainbow floor 26?
I think we should slap a rainbow on it.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Fuck it, we'll make that guy rainbow.
I can set the colors to like
just
shift and shit. You know, yeah, that'll be us.
I don't know why you chose blue. Honestly,
I didn't change. I just forgot about it. I'm sorry. I should change it to like orange or something.
Should be next to me, bro. I brought it here.
Yeah, but this wall, my corner of the room is so empty. You got all this cool shit over there. Like you can see it in the camera. You got like the corner shelf and the sign.
And Kobe.
And Kobe, man.
This is just a fucking Lakers mural. LeBron and Kobe. Yeah. Dude, I really thought LeBron was going to three-peat.
Oh, yeah. He totally didn't, did he? I remember seeing stories about that. Yeah. Obviously. That's tough.
Upsetting. We'll be back next year.
You think Wheeler will three-peat?
I don't know, bro. My boy Kyle, he going to be like, the backcourt's good. So, like, they all can fucking shoot.
Yeah.
They have a, like, 4-star, 5-star in Isaiah.
Yeah, well, maybe the Lakers won't three-peat, but maybe we'll three-peat.
I mean, shit, dude. If we are looking like we're gonna three-peat, I'll be at the game.
Trevor Wallace, guy who never left his hometown. Like,
yeah.
I played JV football freshman year.
Showed up to tryouts freshman year.
I would have gone D1, but I sprained my tonsils.
I'm 5'4". Wasn't gonna go D1.
Don't worry, neither was I, man. Well. I think that's a good time I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
I think honestly, it's been like me and like we've never had an episode, me and you.
Nope.
In a long time.
I mean, this is our second time having a one-on-one.
Yeah.
With me and TJ, it was interesting.
And honestly, I'll rate it. This was probably like one of my favorite episodes so far.
Well, I've noticed this now this is my second time having just like a one-on-one. I kind of like just having like a one-on-one with one of you guys,
Mm-hmm.
Like I should do this with Jack next,
Oh, if he shows up.
If he ever shows up. No, but
it's okay, guys. He's getting cut from the team soon.
Oh shit.
Doing it for you, Hasslers.
Oh no. Let's hope he doesn't listen to this.
He won't listen this deep.
Yeah, he'll probably bow out. But as soon as I said that's a good place to wrap, that's when he stops, right?
Yeah.
But I realized that the last time we had all four of us here was episode 26. Isn't that crazy? All four of us like sitting in the same room. 26.
That's wild.
10 episodes ago. Months.
I think we got to figure something out because it'll work when you're there and I'm here, but I don't think it'll work if somebody else is here.
Like you're blocking our view of each other. I might have to shift this way.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. Green screen over there. Shifty to the corner.
I was thinking, what if we just put the green screen across this whole area? Because what I think, so like look down that direction. Does that look like scary as hell to you? Like look down at the other side of the basement. Yeah. Like, isn't that something that was kind of like disconcerting if you were just staring down at it? So I was thinking like, it'd be nice to have a little barrier there.
I'm just seeing shit now. Just waiting on
the demons,
the tiger to come out. All right, wrap up.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of the Floor 26 podcast. Very excited to be sitting in our new set. It's quite comfy. It's a lot more comfy than our last set. Thank you, Parsa, of course, for having this wonderful conversation with me.
Of course, man. Wish we could do this more.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I do miss TJ and his antics, and Jack, of course. But
it was nice.
It was nice. It was nice while it lasted. But besides that, of course, thank you all for listening, everybody. Check back next week. We may be changing around our schedule a little bit soon, but
just a little.
But thank you all for listening. I hope everybody has a great week. This is Floor 26. We're out.